Hello everyone, Holly Kerwin again. I think it is day 4 of my 30-day live stream challenge. Wasn't quite sure what I'd talk to everybody about today. There's so many ideas in my head around what I could do, and I'm not following a set schedule or anything. I'm just winging it. So I thought today I'm going to talk a little bit about self-care and also provide people with the technique which I use all the time with clients, and I think you'll find probably most mental health clinicians know of it or use it, and I just call it the 5-to-1 grounding. So more on that later. I'll tell you a bit about what it is and actually run you through it. But it's a great strategy to be able to use and modify in whatever way suits you, so that you can abridge it, use it quickly if and when needed to bring things down. So self-care. Today is Wednesday. This is what a psychologist looks like on her day off. Messy hair, minimal makeup. It's a hot day. I've just got a bit of a caftan on with a belt, and white sneakers. Like, that's it, because I'm trying to march around a little bit. I didn't want to wear delicate shoes, and I'm a disaster in heels anyway. I wouldn't wear heels. I would be likely to break something seriously. I'm just not made for them. Some of my friends are, and I would love to wear them, but I can't. Yeah, anyway, enough about that. So it's Wednesday. For a long time, I have been trying to work 4 days a week, pretty much unsuccessfully. I work really long hours. I've had lots of balls in the air for a long time, many competing demands, lots and lots of hats on, and I felt until recently that it's been really difficult for me to be able to take the day off that I've tried. I've tried taking Mondays, I've tried taking Fridays, I've tried taking Wednesdays, but in fact I'm pretty sure I had last Wednesday off. Well, I don't remember, maybe I didn't, but I'm doing it for now. I'm committing to that because I need it. I need the headspace, and I don't need to feel guilty about not working on a Wednesday. And I noticed that there's some justification that goes on. Even yesterday I was saying to someone, again, I'm taking tomorrow off, because I need it. I need the headspace, and particularly in a CEO role, I need to be able to have that sort of clarity so that I don't have a cluttered brain, and I can see the vision forward of that where we're going, how we're going to help people, how we can innovate and provide services, given that it's so hard to get in to see clinicians. The demand is enormous, and this is why I'm doing this as well, just to be able to put stuff out there to help people, if they're on waiting lists, or we're maybe considering going to see someone anywhere around Australia, wherever, it doesn't matter. But it's a scary thing to go in and see someone for the first time, a clinician. So, this might demystify some of this, and also just normalise it again. Hey, I'm a grop, this is my day off. One of the things that I have decided to do to get me out of the house is stop feeling guilty about it, stop judging myself and worried that other people are going to be judging me if I take the day off. Like, I put my hours in regardless. I'm allowed to do it. I'm allowed to do it. So I just need to get over myself, move on. But I do notice I have to get out of the house, because if I'm at home, there's always something to do, whether it be piles of washing, that dirty floor. And the reality is I have 3 dogs, 2 kids and a husband. I'm always going to have a dirty floor, and I'm not someone who's fastidious around the house, which is probably a good thing, or it would be another burden to bear at the moment. So I need to get out though, because otherwise, if I see, because I work from home as well, if I see my computer, if I see, emails pop in, Outlook or anything, that I'll easily get hooked back into it. And what I do find is that there's a little bit of an unsettled feeling in my tummy, and that tells me there's just a little bit of low-grade anxiety really there, because I'm so used to shoulds. I should be doing it. I should catch up with those emails. I've got 3,000 emails in my inbox. I'm never going to get to them. People who know that they need to get in touch with me, my team, my family. I mean, my family's not going to email me, but people are going to Voxer me, or they're going to send me a text, and that's how they get my attention if there's something urgent. But it's that sort of pressure that there's always more to do. There's always more I should be doing. I don't think so much in terms of must, but we've got to think of these terms, should, must, have, and so on, as dirty words. Like, they are the ultimate dirty word, because they make us feel as though we're not doing well enough. You know, they make us feel that we're failing. Like, they're absolute terms. There's no flexibility in them. So I've got to be mindful of that, you know, as I go. And of course, this is something I always teach my clients. Anyway, so in to get my nails done. Haven't been done since pre-COVID, when I took them off extremely badly, and by the time the nail salons opened again, they'd just grown out, and I thought, I'm not going to go through that again, just in case there's another shutdown with COVID. But I figured, you know, on this day off, I need to get out, I need to do some things. And look, if I get my nails done every 3 weeks, I make good coffees at home. I don't buy coffees out. I can do that. You know, I can actually do it. I'm allowed to do it. I'm allowed to invest in myself and nurture myself a little bit like that. It's a little thing, you know, but it all helps, and it gets me away from work, and it helps just to reduce that unsettled feeling in the tummy that I should be doing something. I'm interrupting a cycle there of being hooked into having to work all the time. You know, like I alluded to yesterday, everyone needs to do different things to be able to find what works for them, and different things are going to work for them on different days. So if it wasn't a really hot day today, I'd go out, like in the Botanic Gardens or something. I haven't walked around there for ages. Later on, when it cools down, to just help me, you know, continue actually having my day of self-care and clarity, I'll go for a hike. And I imagine with the heat, there'll be lots of koalas that have come down. You know, I heard one at the house last night somewhere. So they're, you know, maybe he knew that the heat was coming. Anyway, so what I want to go through is a bit of a classic 5-to-1 grounding tool, right? It's 5 things you can see, hear, and sensations you can feel. Now, it's a simple tool to learn. You can modify it in any way. You know, if you just want to, if you're in a queue at a supermarket, no one is going to be able to tell that you're doing it. If you're feeling as though you're a little bit rushed, you're running late for a meeting, or you're running late getting the kids to school, whatever it is, you can do it while you're driving. But obviously, you know, you've got to be very mindful of what you're doing, you know, while you're driving. So you're seeing the car ahead of you. You're really seeing the car ahead of you. You're feeling the vibration on the wheel, you know, your hands on the wheel. You're listening to the sound of the road, you know, and if you're stressed, you might even up it a little bit, wind down the window, and then, you know, you get more sensations coming in, more sensory information that's going to interrupt that stress response, or the anxiety response, or the overwhelm. Okay, so what I tell people to do a lot of the time is, if they're noticing that their stress level, they scan their body and they notice that their stress is, you know, above a 5, maybe a 6 out of 10. Right, we call this the SUDS, the subjective units of distress. So if you notice that your SUDS level is like a 5 or a 6 out of 10, that's a signal, you know, to work at bringing it back down. Because again, remember, we've got to be able to change patterns, to intercept cycles, we need to make choices about responding, not reacting. Now, the reactivity is just getting further hooked in that and going, oh God, I'm running late, I've got to get there. You know, I'm just going to sneak through that light. Not that I, you know, ever recommend that, but if it's very orange, you know, we might try to cross the line before it goes red. You know, but actually just doing things differently, you know, deciding to choose, deciding to respond, deciding when it's at a 5 or a 6 to just take a breath, breathing out, remember, breathing all the way out first. I'm going to do it now. You can do it with me if you want. And I'm really breathing out. This is just my technique. This is the way I do it, but I find it's really useful. And then there's huge amount of space for a big breath. So I can take a massive breath that way because I have deflated those lungs, right? It's not just trying to take a big breath, which is just up here, and it's really small in comparison. So I always weave a few things into these techniques because I just find it gives a little bit more bang for the buck. So, you know, just breathing out, and then what we do is we start to use our senses to bring everything down. And remember, if you did see the video yesterday, it was a bit of a long one, but if you did see it, you know, when the stress is up, the threat response system goes on red alert. Now, the more that happens, the more head triggered it's going to become over time. which is how anxiety problems can build up. And the more it's going to be on the lookout for those dangers, you know, because it thinks that it's helping you. So every time it comes across a situation that that fight or flight response is activated in before, or something that looks similar, it's going to activate again because it's trying to help you. Okay, so we want to be interrupting all of that, and by using the senses in such a simple way, we can get that system going from red alert down to orange, which is really helpful because we want to start to undo some of those patterns that have built, and we want to weaken those pathways that have built in the brain, and we want to get the smart part of the brain back online, right? We want to use the whole brain, not just the reptilian part of the brain that's helping us to survive, that's helping us to protect us. We want to get the smart part back on so we can problem solve situations and choose to respond. Okay, not react. So what we do then is, and I've got my new AirPods in, which I got the other day after I accidentally tapped my my old ones, and my Spotify just blasted, so my apologies for that, but I've got some new ones, so in case I do that again, and it picks up the sound better, so hopefully you won't have too many interruptions of the sound. So I'm not going to be able to hear, but I'll guide you through it. So what I want you to do to start with is just breathe all the way out. Okay, and now just look around you and observe 5 things that you can see. It doesn't matter what they are, and the purpose of this exercise is just to observe. You're using your eyes just to observe. So I can see some beautiful plants over there, and I can see them moving with the breeze, and I can see that there's patches of light and dark because they're under big trees. Now I'm not thinking about, oh, I'd like to get something like that for my garden, that looks really good, and I did take a photo of it before. What I'm doing is I'm just using my senses to note. I'm just studying what's happening, and then I'm moving on to the next thing. And if chatter's starting in my brain, I'm just saying to myself, thinking or distracted, and I'm moving on to the next thing. And it doesn't matter what it is. I can see a street sign. Okay, and I'm just looking at that. I'm looking at the colours. I'm looking at the shadow, the light hitting one side, the shadow on the other. And then I'm seeing a car that's pulled out from a street, looking at the tyres. So just keep going, observe 5 things. And now I want you to listen for 5 things that you can hear. Might be the air conditioner, might be something in the distance. Listen out as far as you can for 5 things that you can hear, and just notice and name them. And if you notice that you're getting hooked up in your head, if you're thinking about something, if you're distracted, just notice and name that and let it go like a cloud passing by. And just throw the spotlight of your mind right back on listening to 5 things that you can hear. And now 5 sensations you can feel. So if you're noticing pain or discomfort anywhere, don't judge that, just purely notice it. A bit like a scientist that's stepping back and observing. Just watch how the sensation changes. Things aren't always exactly the same. And then move to something that's neutral, like the sensation in your left big toe. So just observing 5 sensations you can feel without any judgment and without getting hooked up in it. And now go back to observing 4 things you can see. Doesn't matter what they are, they can be anything. Just using your eyes to bring you to the present moment, to really observe 4 things you can see without thinking about them. Just observing. And 4 things you can hear. and 4 sensations you can feel. And now 3 things you can see. And don't worry if you get distracted, that's normal. It's like we have monkey brains, they jump from here to there and everywhere. That's normal. But as soon as you notice that you're distracted, your job is simply just to observe it. Let it go like a car passing by. And just very gently, without judgment, come back to the task at hand of observing 3 things you can see. 3 sensations you can feel. Without any kind of judgment, even if you have discomfort, just observing it, a bit like a scientist with a little bit of distance from it, and then moving on to something else. 3 things you can hear. And 2 things you can feel. Sorry, 2 things you can see. Two things you can hear. And 2 sensations you can feel. And now 1 thing you can see. Sensation. Now just scan your body and head and just observe. Just notice what you feel. I'm hoping that that's helped people just to drop down a little bit. And sometimes I feel just a little bit more connected almost. I definitely feel that my head is more spacious when I do something like that. And I feel like my head and my body are more connected and I feel very grounded. So hopefully you've got some benefit from that. If you did do a scan before of your body, that, when I was talking about the SUDS earlier, if you did scan your body just to rate, the tension or the distress that you're feeling in your body, I wonder what it's at now, and I really hope that that's come down. So it's a useful tool. As I said, you can do it anywhere. You can modify it, right? No one will know that you're doing it, and it's a good little hack. We went through the whole thing then. Sometimes you can just do 3 of everything. If you feel like it, you can notice, how many people are walking around with blue eyes. It doesn't matter what it is. It's just about coming back and grounding yourself and being mindful in the present moment. So purposeful attention in the present moment. And that's a good thing to do for our brains, good thing to do for overwhelm, good thing for self-care, for stress, for anxiety, for depression, for trauma, the whole shebang. Okay, so that's it for today. Hope everyone has a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay, bye.